Alright, my girlfriend and I just cleaned out the inside of the bus. We made a lot of progress in the last week. All the insulation is in and all the excess is trimmed away. It's ready for paneling on the walls and the ceiling. The floor is still a rusty mess, so I'm going to be painting it with some rusty metal primer for starters, and then we're going to be putting insulation on top of that, and then the subfloor. And then it's ready to start building up the internal paneling and the hardwood floors. So I'm pretty excited about it. I wanted to just kind of go over this really quick. The insulation that you see right here is the cotton bat insulation with the foil facing in to keep in any heat that's generated on the inside. It works really well. There's another layer of rigid foam insulation, which really isn't that rigid, 1/2 inch. And then there's one more layer of cotton bat with the reflective side facing out to reflect any heat generated by the sun away from the bus. It stays pretty neutral in here. Another added benefit of the cotton bat is that it's sound absorbing, so it's nice and quiet in here too. This used to be like an echo chamber, and now it's pretty dead. So that's great. I will say that doing the spray foam that we did on the sides here, like if you recall, just behind this foil tape there's spray foam that's been sprayed inside these gaps because these pieces were just a little bit too narrow. And I did that to kind of save money on insulation by just going with the size that I got. In other words, the bust ribs are 26.5 inches wide, and I ended up cutting strips that were 24 inches wide, which left a gap. Why? Because the roll that it came in came at, it was 48 inches wide, so it was easier to just cut up the middle and use all the insulation versus, barely off center at 26.5 inches and then having to either discard or, patch pieces together to make it work. The system worked really well on the sides, but on the ceiling, the insulation kind of dripped down. It looked like a cave in here for a while. I had to go over it a few times because it would fall out of the voids and then have to keep filling them in. And on a few places I put the tape up first and then I sprayed the insulation in afterwards. It worked out okay. I just had to go over it a few times. But yeah, it is Foil City in here. So the government can't read my brain thoughts. Alright, but anyway, next step is to paint the floor. Get it ready for some insulation and build up.